Hello, my name is Paige Hodges, and I'm a sophomore biology major from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Hi, my name is Marin Osborne. I'm a senior biology major, chemistry Spanish minor from Portland, Oregon.
Hi, my name is Monique Harvey. I'm a senior biology major from Denver, Colorado.
My name is Emma Wilkin, and I'm a sophomore biology major from Orlando, Florida, here at Howard.
Hello, my name is Delicia Utley. I'm a senior biology major from Durham, North Carolina.
Hi, my name is Amber Durant. I am a junior biology major, chemistry minor from Atlanta, Georgia, and I am an undergraduate researcher in the Burke Lab. For the past 3 semesters, my lab mates and I have been working on the Mid-Atlantic Megalopolis project at Howard University. This project has allowed us to experience the rich history of natural history collections and their invaluable contribution to research.
And I tell them that it's a collection of dried plants. There are many of them. Some of them are very large, some of them are very small. And the usefulness of this collection of dried plants is varied. So in the first place, it's a collection. So it's just a documentation of plants that have existed in a certain area and hopefully do now exist in that area. But you can use this collection for other things. You can use it to study how plants have changed the times of their flowering or of their fruiting. You can study how plant distributions have changed. You can study when plants have been introduced into certain areas. You can also use these collections to discover new species or to better describe species that already exist. So there are a lot of different uses for these collections, and that's what I tell people that I do.
Herbarium has essentially old plant specimens that have been flattened out and dried. And then each herbarium sheet has the name of the specimen that is collected, the scientific name, and sometimes the common name, the name of the collector who collected it, the date, and the location of where it was collected. So just like how I used information about Taxicodendron radicans, which is also poison ivy, in the Natural History Museum, someone else may have another question about another plant that's found in the Mid-Atlantic region. So by putting all of this information online, along with the locality and the date it was collected, people can come up with their own research questions and their own hypothesis about what will happen in the future or what has possibly caused a change in the plant distribution.
I would say the same thing, climate change, because when people hear plants, they immediately get bored. And so you have to kind of make it into a bigger picture, just like how the world is changing and how plants play an impact in that.
And I always knew subconsciously that there were many, many different types of plants and like all around the world, but I didn't know that they could be preserved like this in an herbarium, or that you could learn so much using herbarium specimens, and also reading journal articles in Dr. Burke's lab, how they're being used for phylogenetic research and phylogeny research. It's amazing how much you can do with plants that I didn't know before, so that's what I would tell them about.
I would tell them that I'm currently imaging specimens to put on a big database for everyone to have access to. And I would tell them that it's important because it's important to study the change in the environment. So these specimens are from like the 1800s and 1900s, and documenting and imaging those can help us study or observe the changes in the plants that we have now.
Well, first I explained to them the significance of my project, so what the objective is, and then I would just go into like a little detail about like how I'm conducting the project. So like I said, I'm working on the Mid-Atlantic Megalopolis project, and the overall goal is to look at the effects of urbanization on our natural environments. And so I'd go through the steps of what we're doing to look at this objective, and how the information that we're collecting and making available to people is going to allow us to look at those effects. And then I'd tell them, just how important these herbarium specimens are. Urbanization is really taking a toll on our natural environments, and so we have plants and trees that used to be in one area at one time, and then we have the trees that are here now, and so we could use these herbarium specimens to see the difference in our natural environment.
So I think that maybe the best way to get people interested in natural history collections is first to allow them to know what they are. I know a lot of people don't know that natural history collections exist at all. For example, herbaria, most people don't know what those are. they might have an idea that we collect dinosaur bones and that we preserve those in museums, but certainly not plants. I know that for myself, even though I didn't set out to be a plant systematist when I first entered biology, I was exposed to natural history collections very early on. Even in elementary school, we had science classes that incorporated natural history collections, mostly with animals, but we would also go outside and work with plants and stuff too. And so I think that just helping students see that there's more to biology than molecules helps get people thinking about things that they could do with their life. Even if they don't end up being a biologist, that this is something that other people do, and that it's something that you can contribute to if you would like to.
Well, I think one thing that could make people very interested in plant research is the fact that they get to travel and they get all these different opportunities to meet all these amazing, incredible people doing incredible things with plants, something that you see and interact with on a day-to-day basis. From my own personal experience, I'm going to be able to travel. I'm going to a conference in South America, and I'm going to be able to network with all these people from Europe, North America, China, Africa, and it's just an amazing opportunity to talk to so many different people. And personally, I always came to college with the mindset that I wanted to be a doctor. And I still do. I still want to be a doctor. The only difference now is I want to be a doctor who uses plants to heal. And there's so many different ways. You can be an engineer. You could be, I don't know, an English teacher. There's so many different things that you can do to incorporate plants into your life. You can still follow your passion, my passion being medicine, and how I can incorporate the two. Or if you are an engineer, following your passion of how to create crops that need less water, so we're saving drought, or how to produce more food that is just as nutritious. So there's all these different things that you can do with plants, and it's something that we interact with on a day-to-day basis. So the possibilities are honestly endless when it comes to plants.
Specifically with natural history collections, I think these are parts of history. When you're touching these old herbarium specimens, you're looking at a part of history, and you get to see kind of what the landscape used to look like, hundreds of years ago, and that's incredibly interesting to me, at least. And I think that if we work more to educate people about these specimens and also just about plants in general, people will be a lot more interested and willing to learn more, willing to work with plants, and willing to help with the transcription of these herbarium specimens.
I think it's important just to get it out there, because I know people would be interested, but most people don't know there are collections like this. Like, I know people at this school who don't know we have an herbarium, and so it's important to just get it into schools if you can, after school programs, just get the information out there and people will be interested.
We build community by outreach, so going to these different schools or having after school programs, allowing these kids to gain more access to what we're studying, the materials that we're studying.
I would build community with plants and natural history collections in general, simply by letting people see all of the specimens that people have preserved. Because one thing that I'm dying to see at this point is the herbarium and all the specimens in the Museum of Natural History. So I feel like if people were able to see all of these old specimens and really know about them, then that would really motivate them to try and get more into it. Because like I said before, I never knew about any of this before I got to Howard, maybe because I had limited exposure to plants and plant research in general. But I feel like if people knew, then that would help bring a sense of community. And also knowing what these plants and these natural history collections are being used for, to study trends in evolution, and also study patterns and things like that. So I feel like there's so much you can do with plants, learn about the past and help in the future. So I feel like that would help provide a sense of community if people knew.
I feel like a lot of people don't know a lot about what natural history collections are and why they're important. So I feel like that'd be the thing to do, just to expose these young people, like high school students, middle school students, to exactly what we're working with and how it can interest them, like how they can form their own scientific questions and use these natural history collections towards understanding what they want to research.